Welcome to Ask For It, the podcast dedicated to helping you unlock your full potential as a seller. Hosted by Amit Trivedi, founder of High Performa and a former Salesforce seller, this show brings you expert strategies, real-world insights, and the mindset shifts needed to become a high performer. Why is it that some sellers consistently earn 6 and 7 figures, while others are struggling to hit their quota? Well, it's not just about skill or strategy, it's actually about how you think. If you don't train your brain to operate like a top 1% seller, you're never going to reach the top 1% of earnings. So let's learn to fix that today. This episode will focus on the mental frameworks, habits, and decision-making patterns that separate high-income earners from the rest. It's not just about tactics. It's about how top sellers think, act, and approach sales differently. Let's start off by talking about an identity shift. Most people wait until they achieve success before they allow themselves to feel successful. But top earners flip that. They embody the identity of a top seller long before they actually hit their numbers. If you go into your career or a sale as someone who wants to be successful, then you're always going to feel a gap in confidence. You need to stop seeing yourself as an aspiring top performer and start acting like one today. So let's unpack that a little bit more. When you tell yourself that you are the top performer, you already got the sale. And others will start to see you as that person, and you'll start to see the results. This is something that I've noticed from sellers I've come across in my career, and even from studying CEOs like Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, for example. These CEOs embody confidence. They have confidence in themselves and in their products. A lot of the time, they do come across as arrogant and self-assured. But in their heads, they're sitting on the product that will change the world. And the most important thing, they acted like it. And as a result, their products did change the world. Now, as a seller, you should be careful about coming across as arrogant. That's not what I'm suggesting. Not all of us are tech geniuses that can get away with that. But we do need to come across as confident. So you need to remind yourself that you were hired because the company or manager or somebody saw potential in you. Remind yourself that when you go into a client call, because the client is looking at you to be the expert in what you are selling. No client wants to think that they got the average salesperson on the team. They want to put their trust in you and make sure that they got the best deal and best product fit for their needs. So you need to act like it. Here are 2 ways to help with this identity shift. First, adopt the mindset of inevitability. Instead of hoping to succeed, decide the success is inevitable and operate from that certainty. Tell yourself, I am successful. I'm hitting my 7-figure quota this year, and as a result, earning 6 figures. Be sure in yourself. Second, take ownership of your results. In episode 3, if you don't ask for it, you don't get it, taking ownership of your sales career, I talk about the concept of having a brag book. I recommend taking a listen to that after this episode, but to quickly recap that, I'm telling you to document your wins. It's easy to forget about all the deals you've closed and the amazing things you've done. Take ownership, document them, and review them every month or quarter. Just read through it and remind yourself that you are a high performer and think about your continued success moving forward. All right, now here's a thought experiment I want to recommend to you all. Ask yourself, how would I show up today if I already am a top performer? How would I speak, act, and handle challenges differently? Either think through this mentally or write it down. And I suggest to go into detail. Ask yourself, would you do a different morning routine? How would you prep for your sales calls today? Would you dress differently? And as you start to think through this identity shift from being an aspiring high performer to a consistent high performer, I want to make sure that we don't forget about how we can handle failure and rejection. Sometimes, even as a top performer, deals won't go through, or things may not pan out the way you thought it would. An aspiring high performer would let it discourage them. And perhaps you would say that you're in a bit of a slump. But an actual top performer would reframe it and detach themselves from that outcome. I'm currently reading the book Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, and he talks about this concept of mental detachment. So Jay explains that when you're feeling a loss, instead of saying, I am sad, say, I feel sad. It's a small shift in words, but it has a large effect. By saying, I am sad, you are adding it to your identity. By using the word feel, you are now separating yourself from that emotion, and it's now just something you are experiencing. And experiences are temporary. For sales, the way I would suggest that you practice detachment when losing a deal would be to say, that deal didn't work out, versus saying, I lost the deal, or I wasn't good enough to close the sale. Try and detach yourself from it so that you don't let yourself spiral. Instead, keep the sale separate from yourself, and when you do this, you'll be able to look at it more objectively and analyze where the sale went wrong. You can then ask yourself, was it my value proposition that needs work? Maybe my discovery questions weren't targeted enough, or perhaps it just wasn't the right buyer. Take each sale, win or lose, as a learning opportunity, but don't let it affect you as a person. You need to remind yourself just to keep moving forward. As sellers, we don't have time to let each sale personally affect us. Top performers see rejection as steps towards mastery. The no you get today is just a jumping stone to a yes in the future. You can only get better from failure, as long as you don't start to believe that you as a person is a failure. The next mindset shift is to think big. Low performers focus on quick wins, while top performers focus on long-term value. Seven-figure sellers approach deals differently. They prioritize relationship building over transactional selling. Instead of thinking, how can I close this deal? They think, how can I make this person a lifetime customer? When you go into a new customer meeting with the intention to build a relationship with them and truly understand their needs and pain points, then you will be able to sell them products over the next several years. If you go in trying to make a quick win, then you aren't putting their needs at the forefront. And sure, maybe you'll make a sale, but you'll have to keep trying to acquire new clients to have constant churn versus just investing in them upfront for a few clients and having more predictability in your pipeline. This is called creating your customer for life. You have to think pipeline differentiation. You want to have more customers for life versus transactional customers. And that's what those seven-figure sellers are really doing. All right, I've already listed a few new skills here and mindset shifts. It's not possible to implement everything overnight, and that's okay. High performers use the 1% rule, which means you just need to improve 1% every day and compound small habits. This is best explained in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. The idea is that instead of giving yourself a goal to implement all of these new challenges in one day, which is unrealistic and can result in discouragement if you're not able to accomplish all of it. So instead, you should focus on making small changes every single day, and then over time, you would have accomplished all of it. You can also use habit stacking to help make these easier. For example, let's say you focus on my first tip today on shifting your identity. You can habit stack this in the morning while you're getting ready for the day. Let's say while you're fixing your hair, you can say to yourself, I am a high performer. I am a seven-figure closer. I am confident. I am the best in my field. Say things that keep you motivated. Make this your own. And start to make yourself feel like a winner because you are a winner. While you say these things out loud, I would also suggest using visualization. Mentally rehearse success before it happens. Now picture yourself crushing your quota, handling objections effortlessly, and closing big deals. In your mind, picture yourself standing in front of a client, giving a proposal presentation. Imagine everything you say resonates with the client. Imagine a few objections and your responses, and you can see the client responding well to them. Then imagine the client signing that contract and the deal closes. Now, isn't that what every seller wants to happen most of the time, or even every single time if we want to be honest with ourselves? So don't let your own mindset stop you from achieving that. Use this visualization exercise, and I guarantee the more of your sales will start to follow that, because you'll feel confident in yourself, and then you're going to start to know the right answers. You're going to start to prep differently, and the clients are going to trust you. My last tip of the day is to also make a plan to focus on your self-improvement. To be a 7-figure seller, you should study other 7-figure sellers. Learn different sales techniques and then invest in your learning. Besides podcasts, I do coaching and training for sales reps. You can choose to join a training program, get a coach, attend webinars, or just read books. Treat yourself like a business. You have to spend money to make money. And by learning new techniques and getting coaching, you're adopting a growth mindset, and your sales skills will only get better. Alright, I want to recommend one more exercise before I wrap up with a recap. So I would recommend starting a 2-minute morning mindset routine. First, I want you to visualize yourself winning in sales. 2, repeat 3 affirmations and repeat them with conviction. You need to feel them. And 3, write down 1 key sales goal for the day. This entire thing should only take about 2 minutes. Try this routine out for a week or 2. See how you feel from before and after. And I guarantee that you are going to feel a big difference. Alright, so today we talked a lot about identity shifts. And essentially, what we learned is your mindset does shape your income ceiling. To become a 7-figure seller, you need to first train your brain to think like one. High performance is a choice, and it starts with how you think every single day. It's important to remember that success in sales isn't just about tactics, it's about identity. When you start thinking, acting, and operating like a 7-figure seller, the results will follow. Shift your mindset, take ownership of your wins, detach from rejection, and commit to continuous improvement. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. First was identity shift. Stop seeing yourself as an aspiring top performer and start acting like one now. Success isn't something you wait for, it's something you embody. 2, mindset of inevitability. Decide that success is inevitable. Instead of hoping to hit your number, operate with the certainty that you will. 3, take ownership. Track your wins, build your confidence, and remind yourself that you are a high performer. 4, detach from outcomes. Reframe failure. Losing a deal does not mean that you're a failure. Separate yourself from the result and focus on what you can learn from it. 5, think big. The best sellers focus on long-term relationships, not just quick wins. Aim for lifetime customers versus just one-off deals. 6, the 1% rule and habit stacking. Focus on small daily improvements. Stack new habits into your routine to reinforce your high performer mindset. And last, visualization and affirmations. Mentally rehearse success before it happens. See yourself winning, say your affirmations, and set a clear goal every day. Now that's the end of the episode on how to think like a 7-figure seller. Now go out there, practice, and I look forward to talking to you all next week. Alright, now bye! If you found this episode valuable, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review so more sellers like you can discover the show. And if you're serious about taking your sales game to the next level, check out thehighperforma.com for training and coaching designed to help you win more deals and future-proof your success. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep pushing, keep improving, and keep closing. And don't forget to ask for it.